if I were to say, or someone were to ask me, what does a builder really want from their sub more than anything else? I would almost always answer it with what they don't want. It's more powerful. By the way, it's a very powerful, very common human emotion to move away from the things that cause pain, much more powerful than it is to move towards the things we want, that we're chasing. So what ends up happening is the builder's mindset, I just want to hire a sub that's not going to cause me grief. Here's what they don't want. They don't want to be sitting in a room like this, 6 months into production, sitting around a room, and the division president says, David, why the hell did you hire Bronchick Drywall? He's killing us out there. He hasn't passed an inspection the first time out. He's added 4 cycle days to every home. And when there's a red tag, he drags his feet. He's killing us. Why'd you hire him? Well, they were 4% cheaper than every. Really? Do you know what 4% in that line item is doing to my carrying costs? You're killing me, David. Builders don't want grief. I'll let you in on a little secret. Builders are more concerned, when I say a builder, I mean the purchasing folks. They are more concerned with preserving their job than performing. They are more motivated by not making a bad decision than they are driven by making a great decision. Do you know in my whole career I can count on one hand the amount of times a buyer ever got behind their desk to come out to the field to see if what I was telling them was so? In my career, right? So again, people are also lazy. So if there's little things that I could do, to whether it's get them shop drawings or bids or numbers or calculate, whatever they needed, all over it. They want people who make their lives easier. There's 100 guys out there that can install your trade competently. That's not enough. Before you can build a relationship, and I want to also clarify, when I say relationship, again, I'm not speaking of necessarily individual to individual. I'm talking about your company and your customer, right? The builder, the company. You want everybody at that home building office to love your business. I always envisioned it this way. If this was a divisional office of a national builder and 2 people are chatting and mentioned my business as a third one walks by, I want that person to stop, turn and go, yeah, those guys are great, and keep going. Lowers perceived risk of making a decision to hire me. I don't want that person to stop and say, oh, those guys suck. Yikes, that's not good, right? So you want a relationship. You want everybody at that company to say, we depend on Lifetime Services for radon. That's our guy. And that's what you want to get to, and that's what we're talking about. So before you can build a relationship, you have to really know who you are as a company. It's hard for someone, meaning a builder, a buyer, to have comfort and confidence in you when they don't really understand what it is you do, okay? Specialization beats generalization. You've got to pick a lane. I'll give you an example. Imagine, Richard, you're a buyer, you're building a custom home, and I come in and I say, I would like to be your framer for this job. Great. And by the way, Richard, I also do roofs, I do glass enclosures, and I pull wire. Is that very confidence inspiring? And by the way, if you've ever done work on your personal residence, right? If you've got minor drywall repair, painting, a door needs an adjustment, great, you hire a handyman. But do you really want to hire a handyman to build you a brand new kitchen start to finish? Specialization creates comfort on the part of the builder. This is what we do, and we're the damn best at it. And then over time, by the way, if you want to for your business, you can expand your product lines, right? Expand your geographic market, etc. But in the beginning, especially, specialization wins. Again, think about your home. If you were building a brand new house by yourself, would you hire an electrician who's a generalist? Right? And for builders, it's the same way. Again, it's perception of risk. So pick a lane. It's critical. When you have a clearly defined message as to who you are as a business, it creates trust on the part of the builder. There's more comfort for you that they have in you. And again, you have to think about it in terms of your own behaviors. Sometimes you just don't want a generalist. And by the way, in new construction, it's not the place for generalists, right? And by the way, when I say pick a lane, it's not just a trade. It's where you position yourself in the market within that trade. Are you a price point vendor? Are you an absolute master craftsman in your trade and you charge top dollar for smaller volume? Define who you are. So it's really important that you understand who I am as a company and then make sure that message filters throughout. So for example, if you're the type of company, or if you're the business owner who chooses a path, everyone follows you. One of my favorite expressions in business is the fish stinks from the head down. Have you ever heard that one? Basically what it means is the company's culture is going to take the persona of the person at the top, right? So if those of you in the room that are business leaders and business owners, if you're the type that says to someone, well, you know, they need that repair out on site, it's $42, you know, give them an invoice. Well, everybody at your company is going to give them an invoice, right? And every time that situation reoccurs, they're going to give them an invoice. If you're the type of business, now you know what, I see a bigger picture. No, Joe, don't. Come on, they're our customer. Then they'll all follow suit, right? The company's culture is going to come from you. And it's hard to define a culture without defining who you are as a business, right? I want to be the very best at this. This is what I do. This is my target audience, and focus on dominating and being the best. And then once that's established, you start to branch out. What business are you in? You're in the service business. You're in the service business. And let me tell you something. If there's one thing you take away from today, you take that away. And you tattoo it on your brain and you put it on a Post-it note on top of everybody's monitor in your office. You are in the service business. And the sooner you embrace this, your company will too. When you have a service-first mindset, and it permeates and filters down, you're giving the builder what they need from you. It's how you start to form a relationship. If you think of yourself as a framer, I'm in the lumber business. If you think of yourself as, I'm in the flooring business and I'm all about carpet and tile, no, there's 1,000 people that can sell the product. When you start to consider and embrace and digest, I'm in the service business, that's when you differentiate yourself in the marketplace. Because nobody is doing that.